Okay, so yoga for depression. So my name is Mark Walsh. I founded something called Embodied Yoga Principles. I have suffered depression on and off over the years, not for a little while. What I would say is that yoga can be a support for that. And I want to be really, really careful here. So I have a psychology degree, but I'm not a clinical psychologist. This isn't a replacement for therapies, for medication. Those things can really save lives. So I want to first of all say this is something that can be done as a support for the kind of conventional treatments that exist, the social support that's out there, the help you can get. So that's the first thing I would say. If you are watching this at home and you're thinking, I'm depressed, yoga can definitely be helpful. I know that for a fact from personal experience and from many students. But also, go to the other things that are out there. It really saves lives. I've lost friends to depression, so I wouldn't want that to happen to you. Okay, so how can yoga be helpful? Well, in many, many ways. How to start? So first thing, getting in our bodies, feeling our bodies, being mindful to our bodies takes us out of our heads, yeah? So a lot of depression comes from our thinking in terms of this bad thing's gonna happen or this bad thing that did happen. That's not in the present moment. Generally in the present moment, there isn't a whole lot to be depressed about. Like I'm just standing in a room and it's quite comfortable and I've had breakfast, yeah? So coming to the present moment in any form, and yoga is of course very good as a mindfulness practice, can help us with that. So that's the very first thing I'd say is mindfulness of the body, getting present in the body. Now, it's hard to just be mindful of your body. So if you're doing either a very strong yoga practice, that will force you to become present, or a very exact yoga practice. So if you're doing, say, a very exact sort of form of Iyengar yoga, and you're kind of, okay, exactly, that concentration on what we have to do can really be helpful. So yes, while I certainly recommend kindness and gentleness, that's the next thing I'll come to, the more intense or the more kind of complicated or technical forms of yoga can actually be very helpful in my experience. Now, gentleness, being kind to yourself is really at the root of this, yeah? You can think of a lot of depression as kind of beating yourself up. So one of the postures I most like is coming in, yeah? This sense of privacy, of drawing myself in, which when you're depressed, my experience of depression is I didn't really want to engage with anyone, right? I didn't want to go out there and engage with anyone. And that feeling of drawing myself in, either in this, what we call privacy posture or self-care posture, giving yourself a little bit of love. If you find that hard, you can just do it this way. Yeah, a bit of love that's not going to hurt you for anyone, and certainly not if you're depressed. We need that reminder to ourselves that we're to be loved, yeah? And sometimes in depression, we do need to go out in the world and do stuff. I've had that feeling of being in bed and not wanting to get out of bed and being like, I can't face the day. And what can be helpful there is then to try some more expansive postures, yeah, like the taking up space, like the authority posture, like the warrior posture. Look at the video on confidence. It has all those postures in. And those postures, you won't fucking feel like doing them, okay? You will not feel like doing them if you're depressed, but it actually starts to change our physiology. So the more we're in this kind of forward bended, curled up position, the more depressed we'll feel. And if you're not depressed, you could try that as an experiment. Just forward bend for a day, or as most people call it, working in an office, yeah? Do you see what I mean? So take yourself out of that forward bending, that inflection, and come a little bit more into at least uprightness and preferably some extension. So the back bends can be good. The different, you would call chest openers or back bends in yoga, like passion posture, even just a little bit of that. These expansive postures for getting yourself out of that depressed body, which is normally down and in, yeah? Down and in. We talk about being depressed or down in any language. It's interesting. So some of the up postures can also be helpful as well. Some of the yoga postures where you're kind of reaching up, I don't know, it'd be like dancer, you'll see it's quite an up posture. Or some of the warrior postures where you're reaching up, yeah? Classically in EYP, we have this we call transcendence posture. So if depression is down, doing postures that take you up. And again, you might not feel like it, and you might need to go into the reflective self-care postures, rest posture. I know you get very tired. I used to when I was depressed, didn't have much energy. So really resting well. Yeah, having your rest. So you really when you go in, do it in a kind, restful, gentle way. And then when you need to go out to do your shopping, or even, sometimes it's just getting out of bed, like I'll be in bed and I was depressed and I just do a little back bend or a little extension. start stretching out a little bit, and then find that energy to get up and have a shower or do the, whatever the small victory was of the day. So if you're depressed, I wish you well. There is help that exists out there. There's loads of good resources online. Many people these days do have access to some kind of therapy. Medication is not the devil. There's things that can really, really help, herbal medicine as well as conventional medicine. And I hope some of these yoga practices that I've talked about can be an adjunct and a help for that. So big love to you. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, you can subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. More importantly, however, get the newsletter. So the newsletter you do, is that right? In the box here? Okay. So why you would want the newsletter? So you hear about the best videos, so you actually ask me questions, you can reply to the newsletter, I'll reply. You can hear about events, teacher trainings, other things that are happening, and stay in touch more reliably. So newsletter there.